24084 NA.
All right, we are back on record. We were on record on this one yesterday to look at the case as far as what's been happening with the father of the children. And today is the date and time set for the initial disposition as it relates to Angel Rosas, the mother of the children, on petitions 1 and 2. Just to update you, which I'm sure your attorney may have already done so, we did have a number of exhibits that were reviewed yesterday and are pending. Well, they were received, but you'd be welcome to make any objections that you needed to. I know that these exhibits have been served and been in the possession of all of the attorneys and the parties for some time, but I'm happy to listen to any objections on this today.
No objection, I have reviewed those yet.
Oh, thank you, appreciate it. All right, so those will become part of our file. So I look forward to the rest of the proceedings as it relates to the disposition after appearance.
Lee Heiss, lawyer guardian ad litem.
Michael McFarland.
Oh,
sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. Ms. Saja Thomas, counsel for the department. Ms. Smith.
Kristen Smith, foster care worker, Catholic Charities.
Michael McFarland representing mother. Please introduce yourself.
Angel Rosas.
She's feeling ill today, so she's wearing a mask. I asked her to speak up just a little bit, Your Honor.
Yes, I can hear her. Thank you for that. Ms. Heiss.
Thank you, Your Honor. I visited with the children. One child was placed outside of Lenawee County, and I Zoomed with her this time and met with the other 2 children face to face. As an outsider to the family, I'm really struck by the children. They've been kind of deadpan. I've seen them in visits with mom and dad. I've seen them at the other placement. They're at a new placement now. I didn't know they had dimples. They are smiling. They've softened. I really hope that while we're working on reunification, mother will look to what's going on for the kids and try to imitate it when they come back home, because it is, when they're in a healthy environment, it really shows. I didn't think these kids had the ability to communicate in receptive language and expressive language, but they certainly do. So placements are meeting all the children's needs, and I think the case service plan will, when mom succeeds at all the pieces laid out for her, she will be in the best position to take the children back. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Honor. If Ms. Smith can be sworn in, please.
That names Ms. Kristen Smith.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Ms. Smith, I know we were here yesterday, but just briefly as it relates to mom, the court report that you filed for the September 30th hearing date, are there any updates or modifications that you need to make to it as it relates to Ms. Rosas?
Yes, I do have a decent amount of updates, actually. And I'll kind of just go down the list of how it was laid out in the court report. So regarding her employment, I contacted Little Caesars because she had not verified employment with the agency by a pay stub. And I was informed that she stopped showing up and that she was only employed there for about a week. So at this time, I am unaware of her employment status if she obtained new employment. Regarding transportation and housing, the agency did provide Ms. Rosas with a new bike as well as a bike lock. Unfortunately, since the day that we provided it to her, we have not seen it. We're able to provide her with gas cards and one-way transportation assistance. But other than that, I'm not sure what her status is with transportation. Housing, Ms. Rosas still refuses to provide the agency with an address. She reports that she's staying with a friend, but that friend, what it sounds like, does not want keeping foster care in the residence. Adrian Counseling and Psych, I had made a referral for her for a psychiatric evaluation and provided her with all of the intake paperwork. To date, Ms. Rosas has not scheduled that appointment or attended. I followed up with Michelle Palmer regarding anger management. She contacted me yesterday and said that Ms. Rosa scheduled an appointment with her on the 30th, which she did not attend. It was a no-show, no-call. She hasn't heard from her since to reschedule. Parenting times. She had 2 no-call, no-shows to her parenting time. So after that, the agency had asked and required her to confirm 2 hours prior to her visit, given the distance that one of the foster parents travels with the youngest child. And then Miss Rosa's, again, today failed to confirm that visit time. So right now she has 2 unexcused visits with the foster care supportive visitation program through Orchard. I do know at 4 they will discharge the program.
You're coming in and out, Ms. Smith. Can you repeat that, please? I only got about every other word of that last bit.
Yes, sorry. I can, maybe if I shut my camera off, I might have a better connection.
I think if you just make sure you're close enough to the microphone, that should resolve it.
Okay. Regarding the foster care supportive visitation program that she's currently engaged with, she had 2 no-show, no-calls. And given the distance that one of the foster parents commutes with the youngest child, we had asked that, and it is a morning visit, we asked that Miss Rosa's confirm 2 hours prior to that visit. I do know that today was another missed visit because she had failed to confirm on time. With that program, they only allow 4 unexcused visits, and right now she's at 2. So it's hopeful that we won't get to that point. And then for parenting times, Miss Rosa's generally the visits that she does come to, she is on time. And at times she's prepared, other times she lacks the necessary items for the children. Most importantly, appropriate food. I know that it's been discussed several times and she's been encouraged, and other items have been suggested by myself, our other staff members, and the early Head Start worker that was working with her. Unfortunately, Miss Rosas becomes very upset and argumentative and dismissive with staff and doesn't appear to want that help or suggestions. So sometimes visits are difficult.
Thank you for those updates.
Yeah.
As it relates to the case service plan, well, let me just ensure that reunification is the goal for Ms. Rosas and the children at this time, correct?
Correct.
And as part of reunification, a case service plan is developed and you have prepared that and submitted it. Did you have an opportunity to formulate that with the input of Ms. Rosas?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And were there any other services that she has brought to your attention she may benefit from?
No, not at this time.
And currently, what are the barriers to reunification for the children to go home with Ms. Rosas?
Appropriate housing, financial stability, untreated or undiagnosed mental health issues, and an overall lack of appropriate discipline techniques, knowledge, developmental milestones, and appropriate nutrition for the children.
And it sounds like, so prior to today, she was not court ordered into any services, but it sounds like there has been some participation in voluntary services. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And I know you just went through all those updates, but what are some of the voluntary services that mom has started to?
Attended, I believe, 3 sessions for anger management. She was scheduled for the psych eval in September. She unfortunately missed that appointment. That has since been rescheduled to December. And it's my understanding that she's planning on attending that appointment. And she is engaging in the supportive visitation parenting education program through Orchards.
What is the current parenting time schedule for Ms. Rosas?
She visits on Mondays from 3 to 4 p.m. and then on Tuesdays from 9 a.m. to 11.
And is that with all 3 children?
Yes,
both
it
of
is.
those times?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything from your report that we missed that you would like to highlight on?
No.
And just to ensure we have a complete record, yesterday we discussed all of the children's medical needs. And I just want to confirm that you are also providing mom with copies of any assessments or evaluations, and that she's informed and or included in any of those appointments.
Yes, she has received copies from the Ivy rehab assessments as well as everything that was completed with early on. And then when I provided her with a copy of this court report, she was also provided a list of their upcoming medical, dental appointments, and mental health appointments from now until February.
Okay, thank you. With that, Your Honor, I have no further questions for Ms. Smith.
Cross-examination, Mr. McFarland.
My client informs me that she appreciates the bike you purchased for her, but it now has a flat tire. Is there a way that we can get the tire fixed for her so she can go out and look for a job and other places to live?
Yeah, when I provided her with the bike, I had explained to her that it was in our agency's garage, and that the tire was low, that she just needed to put air into it. So if she would like to bring the bike here, we could put some air in it for her.
Well, I mean, it seems you gave her a bike with a defective tire. Is there any way you can give her a bike with a tire that actually works? She doesn't have a pump. How do you bring a bike with no pressure that's going to be flat every day? I mean, how do you expect her to use that?
To my knowledge, there's nothing. It was a brand new bike, because it had been sitting in the garage with the cold season last year. It just deflated. To my knowledge, all she needs to do is put air in the tire. If she needs assistance with that, I can help her put air in the tire.
Okay, she tells me it has a nail in it now, is what happened. So where would she take it to get it repaired? Wait, will your agency do that at that garage? I'm not familiar with that.
If she can bring the bike to the agency, we can assist her, yes.
Okay. Priorities. I know there's an awful lot that she needs to do. Well, how would you prioritize what she should do on her case service plan?
At this time, I think that for Ms. Roses, it's important, her mental health at this time. It was noted in prior reports that she may have some mental health diagnosis. I think that in order for her to be at a stable place for herself and her children, that would be the first thing that she needs to work on. So that would be contacting the Adrian Counseling and Psych to set up that intake appointment, as well as attending her psychological evaluation with Dr. Haugen in December.
Where is that scheduled for? Where's his office?
That is in Hillsdale, and the agency provided her with a $25 gas card for the last appointment. However, she reported that was stolen. Since I have told her that I will give her the gas card the week of that appointment. So that's a conversation that her and I have had.
Okay. My understanding is that there may not be Section 8 housing available right now, but is that something that she would go through her worker to attempt to at least pre-qualify for Section 8 housing?
Yes, we've discussed that. I think that there's an issue because of having an eviction on her record. And when I had asked her last about her housing, she said that she was residing with a friend and that she could stay there and the children could stay there. However, she won't provide me with that address in order for the agency to assess that home.
Okay. And if her opinion now is that it's not a good place for the children, what can we do to assist her with housing if she may not qualify for Section 8?
Honestly, I'm with evictions on her record. I'm not sure I'm not sure the specifics of what qualifications there are. I don't know if that would necessarily, I don't know if she would be approved for that, given the evictions on her record. I think that it has to be within a year or 12 months.
Right, I understand that. I'm going under the presumption that you're correct, that she may not qualify for Section 8. What assistance then can the agency actually do for her, help herself get housing?
Uh, For right now, we could assist her with local shelters. I know that she had stayed with Catherine Cobb. I don't know if she can return there after her 90-day stay was up. But I would encourage Ms. Rosas to obtain sufficient employment. And then we could help her look for apartments or housing.
And right now, my understanding is the parenting time is how often per week?
Twice a week.
And the duration is what, 2 hours?
1 hour on Monday and 2 hours on Tuesday.
So 3 hours. If she consistently keeps that parenting time, would you be willing to consider expanding it to what's typically the norm of 3 visits, 2 hours per week?
We could discuss, increasing visits. That's always our plan as the parents, progress and as, the case is, going well and she's available. I will say that the amount of services that the children are in and the location of the children.
Hang on, sorry. Are you okay? It's okay. Right, you just get up and walk out if you need to. Oh, so sorry. All right, she's still upright, in case you're wondering. She's
Okay.
all right. Bit of a cough. If it gets worse, we're all abandoning ship over here, but she says we don't have to at the moment. Okay, go ahead whenever you're.
Okay. So yes, the agency would be open to expanding parenting time. I will say not only the services that the boys are involved in keeps them very busy, as well as some of the concerns that the agency does have during parenting times. They are also, it was noted in the bonding assessment, Ms. Rosa's struggles to manage her time between the 2 children, now with the addition of the youngest child. So at this time, the agency would not be increasing parenting time until some of those issues were resolved.
Do you think maybe a combination of visits between the children, when she can maybe start to focus more time on some of the kids, might be, if she thinks that's good, do you think that might be explored?
Because to stagger visits or split, is that what you're asking?
Yes, exactly.
So honestly, we kind of do that because the agency has to provide transportation for the children for the visits. And our company vehicle is not able to fit all 3 of them. So when we transport the 2 older children back to daycare, we offer both the parents that half an hour to stay with the baby and have that one-on-one time with them. It's
Okay.
hit and sometimes the parents choose to stay, sometimes they choose to leave. And then when the boys are also dropped off, they get here early. So I've let Miss Rosas know, and she has come 15 minutes early that she can spend that time with the boys before the baby arrives. So we kind of already do that. Obviously, when the children are returned to her care, she's going to be responsible for caring for all 3 of them.
Did I hear you say that Ms. Rosas has turned down an opportunity to have more parenting time? Is that what I'm hearing?
She has. It's not very frequent, but there have been times that, we've had the baby in the office waiting for our case aide to come back, and that she had chose to leave instead of to stay with her. So then a staff member will just stay with the baby.
I think that's all the questions I have.
Very nice.
Have one moment. Anything else you want me to ask? Nothing further.
Ms. Heiss.
Ms. Smith, has the mother received the court report in paper or email? How did she receive it?
She received it in person. I gave her a paper copy at one of the parenting times.
Would you consider when the next court report is drafted, maybe scheduling an appointment so we can all, I want to make sure she's really working through the court report and reading it all. And if there's any barriers that we're spoon feeding her, would you be open to that?
I guess, what are you asking? I'm sorry, could you clarify what exactly you're asking?
Well, in the end, I need to make an evaluation, what's in the best interest of the children. And before I evaluate mom's response to the court report, I want to know that she's had an opportunity to read it and really ask questions and get through the whole thing before I hold her accountable for it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I would ask that maybe a family team meeting be set so I can observe you going through it with her, observe that her questions were answered and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, and in addition to the court report, we also, as case managers, we generate case service plans in a different, through the state system. So we review the parent agency treatment plan and a case service plan in a different format with the parents every 90 days. And normally when I like to kill two birds with one stone. So I normally do that before a parenting time. So I can always get with you and let you know when I have the case service plan that I'm going to review with the parents. And if you want to, you could come observe that and then stay for the parenting time if you needed to see that as well.
That would be really good, because what I'm noticing, mom didn't attend the OT, PT, or speech evaluations for the children, did she?
No.
And was she made aware of those appointments?
The ones at Ivy Rehab, I don't believe so. I think those were scheduled with the foster parents. But the ones with all of the same assessments that were done through early on, we actually scheduled that to take place in our office, and both of the parents that day were no call, no shows to that visit.
Okay.
So that assessment was actually, those assessments took place in our office during one of the parenting times.
In the court report, I see that you've texted mom so that she's aware of the date, November 4th at 2 p.m. for her psychological evaluation, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I have nothing further. Thank you.
Any redirect?
I have none, Your Honor.
Any recross?
No, thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Any other witnesses today, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McFarland?
I'd like to call my client.
Come on up to our witness stand. Ms. Melissa?
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
If there's a step here.
First of all, I want to address, I know I've discussed this with you, but the question the guardian ad litem is asking is that, were you able to read and understand the case service plan and the court report that was prepared for today?
Some of it.
What are the barriers to you? Do you have difficulty reading or comprehending, or what does some of it mean?
Comprehending it for me.
Okay. Have you been diagnosed with any type of comprehension issues?
Yes.
What?
It's hard for me to read a little bit, hard for me to understand some things.
Have the doctors said there's a specific diagnosis that you're aware of?
No, not really. I remember what I used to take for medicines a lot.
Well, give us an idea.
ADHD medicine,
Okay.
anxiety medicine, sleeping medicine to make me go to sleep.
What's the highest degree of education you've completed?
11th.
11th grade. Would you say you had difficulty reading while you're in school?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so with the guardian ad litem, what I also want to know is what can be done? Can you stop if there's a word you don't understand and say, can you tell me what that word means? Would that be helpful to you?
Yes,
Are simple words easier than complicated words?
sometimes.
This is your roadmap, as I explained to you, to get the kids back, close the case and reunify. So we want you to understand what it is. When I ask you, did you get the case service plan, and you understand it? If you don't understand it, rather than saying yes, I need to know that you don't understand it, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so would you like the worker and the guardian ad litem go over the case service plan with you so you understand it as she's suggesting?
Yes,
Okay. Is it true, as I told the court, that your tire now has a flat tire from a nail or something?
yes,
Okay. Can you get your bike back there so they can fix it for you?
yes.
What happened with your job?
It was too far and I didn't want to keep going to it. I was looking for a job a little closer, somewhere in town. I tried the library, Taco Bell. I tried a restaurant that's kind of just opening up, but they said they're not looking for anybody right now.
Now, housing, is it true that at this point in time, you don't think that's a suitable place for kids to be with you?
No, not right where I'm at, no.
Okay, because the agency would like to check it out to see if kids could visit you there, but you're saying right now, you don't think that would be appropriate. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes,
You also told me that sometimes you don't have access to charge your phone while you're there. You sometimes miss appointments because you have no alarm, right? I discussed with you the possibility of maybe going down Salvation Army and trying to find up a wind-up clock, and if the worker happens to run a crossbow, you could use that. Is that what I'm hearing?
yes, sir.
The old-fashioned one. Okay. You heard the worker state that they've offered you extra time and you've turned that down. Can you maybe explain that?
No. They've never asked me to stay. Every time it's visits over, I either, like on Mondays, the parents are here to pick up the daughter and I had to help the boys go. They never asked me to stay with my daughter a little longer. If they would, I would. I wouldn't turn down any more time.
And the first missed psychiatric evaluation, what was the reason that you missed that?
She said she was gonna give me the gas card prior to the visit. We kind of talked about it, but then never exchanged that gas card, so I missed that visit. But this one I won't miss.
She said that you told her your gas card was stolen.
Yes, the first one did, and she said she was gonna provide me another one to get there, but I told her to hang on to it until it was time for me to go. Like,
Did you do this by texting her?
no, we talked over the phone that day.
Okay. Where do you think you need the most help right now?
Housing. I would say housing.
Are you welcome back at the shelter?
I would think, yes,
I mean, have you asked?
no,
I mean, I see them in court here. Have you chatted with them at all?
no,
Do you want to go back to the shelter on a temporary visit? Let me just ask you that.
I don't know.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I know it's gonna get colder here. I'll probably stop riding my bike to work shortly. What about you? Are you gonna be able to ride your bike to get places?
I'm still gonna do it.
Okay, okay,
Just get dressed warm.
gotcha, okay. Take down your advice. Anything else that, well, it sounds as though they want you when you come to visit, now that you've heard it. You haven't been ordered yet, but they would like you to bring suitable snacks.
Just last visit.
Just listen to me, okay? They would like you to bring suitable, healthy snacks. Looks like suitable things for kids to do. And if you've done it in the past, good, but do you hear what they're asking you to do in the future?
Yes.
Is that something? Can you bring these things on your bike? Do you have a backpack or anything to carry? Or
I bring a
bag?
backpack full of stuff with them.
Understand you might not qualify for Section 8 because you've had a prior eviction that you still owe money on. Is that true?
Yes,
Is that here in Lenawee County?
yes.
It sounds as though they think getting a job, getting some financial independence is your first step. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Do you think you need help trying to get job access to the library or the internet or places to look for a job? Do you think you need any help getting a job?
Yes.
Okay. You understand why the psychiatric evaluation is important, because if you had these diagnoses as a child, that maybe you still need to have some medications or treatment for these things as an adult. I don't know, but do you understand that that's one reason for that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have access to healthcare right now?
Yes. I got Blue Cross.
Okay. Yeah, I think we talked, do you have access to food right now?
Mhm.
Is that yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else that you think that we can do for you to make this a success for getting your kids back?
Just help with housing. That's the main goal right now.
It sounds like also help you understand all these important documents that you get, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you have my phone number, you know my office is, you've been there also, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, sorry you're not feeling well today. We'll see if anybody else has questions for you.
Ms. Thomas?
Mr. Rosas, is there a reason that you have not contacted Ms. Smith about your bike?
I told her over a conversation about it. She asked about my bike and I told her that it's got a nail in it. And she didn't say nothing about it. She kind of rolled her eyes and didn't say nothing.
And you also stated that she's not giving you gas cards,
Yes,
but she testified she did give you one and then you told her it was stolen. Is that correct?
that was the first one, yes. The second one, she was supposed to give to me when it got closer to me to go to that doctor's appointment. We discussed about it, but she never gave it to me when it came time for me to go to that
So what was the first gas card for?
for that appointment. I was at the shelter at that time and I didn't know I couldn't leave it where I had it and somebody took it from me.
Okay. Where in, you don't need to give the address, but where at is it that you are staying? What part of town?
Downtown.
Okay. And Little Caesars is on Maumee Street. Is that where you were working?
Yes. Yes.
And your reasoning or your excuse for not keeping that employment was it was too far?
Yes.
And from the courthouse to Little Caesars, it's a 1.9 mile route. And on a bike, it takes 11 minutes, according to Google Maps. That's too far for you?
I would challenge that it takes 11 minutes by bicycle, but anyway.
Or less.
Or less, I would. Yeah, I've ridden out the country market from downtown, it's longer, but anyway. It's all uphill also.
Noted.
The coast back is easy.
Is that too far for you?
I have a different question.
Not
Sorry,
like
what
an
was that,
answer.
Ms.
If
Thomas?
it's, if 1.9 miles on a bike is too far for her.
A little bit.
How motivated are you to get your kids back?
A lot.
Okay, but not 1.9 miles motivated.
Objection, argumentative, Your Honor.
Ms. Thomas, did you want to respond?
It's a direct question. It's not I'm not asking a conclusory question or making an argument with it.
Ask and answer.
I think
can
you've
move
made
on.
your point. Yeah, thank you.
Move on. And Ms. Rosas, Mr. McFarland asked that it's getting colder out and, maybe a bike's not appropriate. Has Ms. Smith also given you transportation tokens for Lenawee transportation?
Yes. But not
And have you
recently.
utilized those?
Yes, I already have.
And have you contacted Ms. Smith to let her know if you need more?
No, because she gave me a bike and I was using that until I got a flat tire.
And for parenting time, the no call, no shows, what were I'm sorry if you've already answered this, but I missed it in my notes. What were the barriers to showing up to those parenting times?
One, I was sick on some of them, and some of them I forgot to text her. My phone wasn't really working. I don't know what else to do when my phone's not working.
In general, how do you stay organized to keep track of appointments?
I have them set on my phone calendar, reminders, and sometimes I write them down.
What happened with the anger management with Michelle Palmer?
That's actually, I have been going. I've been seeing her every Monday. You can even talk to her. I talked to her yesterday, over the phone. We've been doing our sessions. And we're also gonna meet next week on Monday. And I did miss one Monday when we had court, and I told her the reason why I missed it. It's because I was still in court. And we rescheduled that one.
The supportive visitation program, are you finding that beneficial at this time?
A little bit.
What does that mean? A little bit.
Cause y'all don't really, during the visits, when y'all had the early on and then the parenting. Like when I first did the session with them, they didn't really teach me anything, didn't tell me anything. They just sat back and watched. But didn't say anything the whole entire visit. Wendy, on the other hand, she gets hands-on. She shows me right from wrong. She tells me. She gets in, she interacts.
Okay.
The other people, they don't. They just sit back and just watch. You want me to learn, you gotta teach me. You want me to learn, you gotta teach me. Be hands-on.
Okay, so supportive visitation is not as hands-on as you would prefer.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm no longer seeing Wendy no more. I don't know what y'all really want from me. Y'all want me to be hands-on. Y'all don't really teach me what y'all want me to learn. Or what y'all want me to expect me to learn from you guys.
Ms. Rosas, I just received an email from indicating from Ms. Palmer that she did not hear from you from 9:30 until, well, September 30th until October 11th. Is that true?
I got messages in my phone. My phone's over there. If I can get it.
Just, no, just answer the
Okay.
question if you don't need to.
I don't remember those dates, but maybe, I don't
Okay.
know. We've been
And-
talking for a minute.
And you said that you spoke yesterday, correct?
Yes,
And you said you scheduled an appointment?
yes,
So you did not tell her that you have court in the morning, a jury trial, and that you would not be able to schedule an appointment until after the trial?
no, I told her we'll meet on a Monday. She said that was fine.
I have no further questions,
That's it.
Your Honor.
Ms. Heiss, any questions?
Thank you. Are you still using Catherine Cobb's support and training about domestic violence?
No,
You don't talk with them very much anymore?
not really.
Okay, so if we were to meet before the next court hearing and go over your court report with you and answer any questions, who would be your support person that you would like to bring to that meeting?
That would be Roxy.
Is that your aunt?
Yes,
Now, how often are you in contact with her?
a lot. I mean,
How about your mom? Are you in contact with her?
yes,
How often?
often.
Okay, so are you using those or any family supports for transportation?
Yes, right now my mom's van's not working at the moment. She needs to get, or something's wrong with the engine. She needs to get something fixed with the engine.
But Roxy takes you places?
Right now her car is not available either.
Okay, so what do your family resources help you with?
They just help with a lot of things. I can't really like pinpoint.
Okay, how about your court report? Where is that pack of paper?
It's in one of my backpacks.
Have you shared that with your family?
No,
Okay, do you want their support in this case?
yes,
All right, so you use THC.
yes.
How is that helping you comprehend like the court report and that kind of thing?
What do you, can you be more specific?
No. Using THC, what is that helping you with in life? Why are you using it?
Okay, why do you like drinking water?
It's as basic for you as water?
I mean, why? It's, I mean, I can stop whenever I want. It's not the fact that I want to do it. It's
Addiction, maybe?
not an addiction. Because if I was addicted to it, my levels would be off top. My levels aren't off top now.
How do you know what your levels are?
Because y'all drug test me, every other week, every other 2 weeks?
Okay, and then, well, we're trying to teach you what we want you to learn, right? So we're looking at what the barriers are for you to learn. Do you think THC is a barrier to you learning?
No, it's not.
What are the barriers to you learning?
I learn at my own pace. I don't learn how you learn. I'm not like you.
Right, but how long will it take you to learn?
Not that long.
Like a month? The kids have been in care 4 months. What was it that Wendy helped you learn?
how to interact with my kids.
Yeah. Can you tell me one thing that you do differently now? Because Wendy was, you say interactive and really show you what we need you to learn. What did you learn from Wendy?
How to try to give them my time all at once and do it the right way instead of trying to overwhelm myself. And
Yeah, that makes sense. That's exactly what we're hoping, that you can tell us what it is that you learned. So, have you learned anything about nutrition yet? What to feed the children?
yes, I brought waffles, bacon, and some eggs last visit. Well, strawberry waffles. They were little though, but they loved them.
Just plain?
They had some syrup on them, but not that much syrup.
Okay. Are you aware that nutrition is something we're hoping you'll learn about?
Yes.
Okay. And then, how do you think your kids are doing?
Now that they're in a different home, I'm noticing different things that they're more happier where they are now than they were where they were.
Okay. And the little girl is in the same placement, correct?
Yeah.
You are aware that this case is gonna run for a certain amount of time, right? And then, so we're trying to help you get this done on time to be reunified with the children. And we're 4 months in. How do you, if you were to give yourself a grade on how much you've done to get your reunification, would you give yourself an A, a B, a C?
B minus.
Okay, what do you think the agency, when they assess your progress, what grade would they give you right now?
Maybe a C.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you, Your Honor. I have no further questions.
Mr. McFarland, any follow-up?
Just a couple. This Wendy you're mentioning did a good job with you. Who is she with?
Early on,
Okay. Would you like to see if they could possibly employ her to assist you?
yes. Yes, sir.
Or at least somebody who's actually hands-on and talking? Is that your clearest way of learning? Is it by reading? Is it by watching videos? Is it by having somebody talk to you? What's the best way that you can learn?
A little bit of all three. Hands-on videos, reading, just a little bit of mixture of all three.
Well, I know you told us that you do have some problems reading. Do you have any problems with the English language?
No, sometimes I'm dyslexic.
Dyslexic perhaps? Were you diagnosed with that as a child?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So what does it take? Somebody to read it to you?
Sometimes.
Okay, fair enough. And this is what we need to know today, so you can be successful. Also seems perhaps maybe what was being asked of you is you're using marijuana for recreational purposes, right?
Yes, sir.
And they're kind of wondering, if that money couldn't be put aside in a bank account rather than for yourself, for the kids. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, if you put it that way, they could have just said it that way instead of,
Well, I'm asking you
The
that
other
way.
way,
I'm
but
asking you
yes,
that way. Okay.
I understand that.
But they probably, if I thought about that, I'm sure others are thinking of that too, okay? You have some physical issues with your body, right?
Yes, sir.
Refresh my memory. What are those physical issues?
I have gallbladder issues and I have arthritis a little bit in my hands.
Do you need to go to any medical appointments in town or out of town for your gallbladder or the other?
No.
I remember you testified at the trial that
I'm not gonna,
You're recommended to get some gallbladder treatments, right?
yes, sir. I'm waiting for that. They said right now it's fine. Until it goes up in flames again.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to find out if that was something you needed transportation or help for. Okay. Think we've covered everything?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I guess one last question. Did I hear you would like your mom and your aunt present when you meet with the worker to kind of be kind of like a live memory for you to kind of go over these things?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have nothing else.
Any recross, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Heiss?
No witnesses today, thank you.
All right, thank you for your testimony. We return to your seat. Is there anyone else you wanted us to hear from, Mr. McFarland?
No, thank you.
Closing comments, Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, we are asking the court to adopt the case service plan into an order so that Ms. Rosas can begin working on that, and we can begin monitoring or continue monitoring her progress in addressing the barriers to reunification. At this time, I'm very concerned about her truthfulness and her motivation to be reunified with her children. But I'm hopeful that as she continues to engage in services, that she will be more honest and hopefully show us that she's motivated. With that, we are just asking for a 90-day review. Thank you.
Mr. McFarland?
Well, I know it's humbling for somebody to admit that they have learning disabilities and that she has reading comprehension problems. That it is difficult for her to ride, the distance uphill on a bike. We've heard no testimony to the contrary, that she was told she'd get another card for a psychiatric evaluation, and that wasn't given to her. I take it now that the agency at least knows her past diagnoses, knows that she's dyslexic, that under the American Disabilities Act, they will try to accommodate those issues with her, and that she's more of a hands-on person, that she likes to be instructed and shown physically how to do things and told active interaction more than just an observation and a report later as far as how she was. So that's, for her, is going to be the most beneficial, and we appreciate the prioritization that will help her. That's it. Oh, one last thing. My client would also like the agency to consider that perhaps some of these visits could even be supervised at her mother's house. If that could be, if her mother would allow her house to be inspected for suitability for visits, if she knows these visits are supervised, if a supervisor could be present at the visits at her mother's house, so it's in a familial setting, which is comfortable for the kid. Thank you.
Ms. Heiss?
Thank you, Your Honor. I think that it's important for parents to hear and for us to be sure that we've told the parent, whether they want to hear it or not. Tell them that today is not a day for reunification, and every review period that is like today would not be a day for reunification. There has got to be progress. I look at those kids and they're doing well. Mom isn't yet doing well. And she has to do well for a long period of time for the kids to be able to go back to her and have their needs met. So as long as we're all clear and communicating so that this is no surprise, if we have more review periods where mom isn't progressing, that we're not getting where we need to go. So I just think it's fair to say that so that it doesn't seem like a surprise at the end. Thank you.
Thank you. The court finds all interested parties were given notice for the initial disposition hearing. It felt a lot like a regular review hearing today, but that's probably because the children have been removed, the older two since June, the youngest since August, which has given Ms. Rosas some time to try to get on her feet and to accomplish some of the things that she understands, I know, needs to happen. The reasonable efforts towards reunification are certainly being made. Mrs. Smith, as always, has done an excellent job documenting the services that are being offered to Ms. Rosas, perhaps to a fault. And I hate to say that because I always love reviewing all of her work. It's so detailed. But I think we might be giving you the wrong impression, Ms. Rosas. We're expecting you to get to a point where you can take care of yourself and your children. The fact that you have a tire that has a hole in it, could be an opportunity for you to demonstrate that you're able to figure out how to fix that and how to get to work and how to get to some of your services despite that barrier, which does not frankly seem like one that you would need to go all the way to the agency in order to ask for help with. So I just want to let you know that the perspective that's being offered here today, perhaps as Ms. Heiss observed as well, might need a little bit of adjusting for you. The agency is here to provide opportunities for you to improve your situation. They're not here to do it for you. And every time that we hear that you need help down to such a small, minute level, and that there are all of these additional barriers, it's difficult to understand. And the big perspective here is that without housing, without employment, and without attention to the things that you need to tackle, like your mental health and parent education, I'm going to have to look at the success that your children are having in foster care and decide whether or not that's a permanent arrangement. So I can appreciate the advocacy here this morning, but I don't want you to get the wrong idea. These are opportunities. These are not an opportunity for you to present more challenges in order to have these people help you help yourself. So please keep that in mind moving forward. It's clear at this point that the children do have to remain where they are. That's a safe and least restrictive under the circumstances. We are still looking for employment, housing, attention to mental health needs, and parent education and demonstration of parenting skills to the extent that Mr. Rosas could take care of her children. And unfortunately, we don't have that today. Hopefully we'll have more progress in the next report period. We'll have our next review on Monday, January 13th, in conjunction with the review of the progress that the father is hopefully going to be making. January 13th at 10 o'clock in the morning is when we'll be back next. The order reflects all of the other things, including the approval of Ms. Heiss and her efforts, as well as the approval of those reasonable efforts. And unless there's any questions,